And welcome back, Teresa. Glad you're back. Um, so I'm just going to let everyone know that in addition to using weights this morning, we're going to use a couple blocks. So if you have a couple blocks, grab those, have those nearby. Um, and you're going to want some weights, maybe set a lighter and heavier weights. And we're going to make our way over to our mats and we'll get started having our weights nearby. And as we get started, we could start sitting up or lying down. I think I'm going to go ahead and start lying down today, but you're welcome to start sitting if that's your preference. And um, either way, if you're sitting, just root your sitting bones down, sit up nice and tall. If you're lying, place your feet on the floor. And whether you're sitting or lying, just feel your body relaxing and settling in to whatever posture you're in. Maybe close your eyes if that helps you to focus your awareness inward. And let's dive inward and really connect with how we're feeling. Right? So we're going to connect with how the physical body is feeling our relationship to the ground, whether that's through our sitting bones or under our feet and body. Checking in with our muscles and noticing if we're clenching or gripping anywhere unnecessarily. And if we are, just letting those areas soften. A nice way to create ease in the body is to visualize the roof of the mouth and imagine the roof of the mouth sort of expanding outward. A nice visualization for that is to kind of visualize what happens when you pour pancake batter into a pan and that batter starts to slowly spread out towards the sides of the pan. Can you visualize from the center of the roof of your mouth just a softening and a broadening, radiating out in all directions, just like that pancake batter would do, so that the roof of the mouth broadens out towards the molars, towards the back of the head, and imagining that softening, broadening, continuing even beyond the confines of your head, as if that broadening continued out to the sides and way behind you. And if you can experience that sensation of opening up, just notice how that feels in your mind, in your body, just maybe feeling a sense of spaciousness, of openness. And as we're really diving into present moment experience, let's start to begin to bring our awareness to our breathing, feeling the breath flowing into the body, feeling the breath emptying out of the body. Slowing down, deepening the breath, really paying attention, noticing, feeling. What does it feel like to breathe in? What does it feel like when the breath releases and empties? Our yoga practice is an opportunity to really connect with ourselves, with our bodies and our minds. and perhaps to feel that connection between the two. That can be sometimes quite obvious when we breathe. The physical act of breathing can really change the way we feel mentally, emotionally. So reinforcing that awareness of the connection between the body and the mind. You can continue breathing deeply, or you could transition to a more natural breath. But as we stay here a bit longer, I'd like you to just take a few moments and consider some of the ways that you are strong, or some of the qualities within you that are your strengths. Some of us have the strength of patience. Some of us are really very present with our appreciation or gratitude for life and all that it has to offer. We thought about some of these strengths last week. Maybe you have a great sense of humor. Maybe you're a natural leader. Maybe creativity or curiosity are some of your strengths. But just consider a couple of the things that you know are strong about you. Let's focus on that. We have a tendency to focus on the ways that we're weak or our inadequacies. But instead, this morning, let's think about the things that are strengths of ours. Appreciate and celebrate those strengths. So take one more breath of appreciation for yourself. And then when you're ready, go ahead and open your eyes. We'll take our feet off the floor, or if you're sitting up, go ahead and roll down to lying down. And then we're going to hug our knees into chest, maybe sway a little bit side to side. Free up the low back a bit there. And then swaying center, take your knees wide, pull them apart, and just let them relax open as far as they go in a relaxed manner. So they're kind of, the weight of your knees is resting into your hands. And then hug your knees back to center and let them fall a bit away. So again, your arms are holding them up. And then hug them in with your arms and let them drop open and let the weight of your knees rest into your hands. And then hug them in and bring them together and then let the weight of your knees settle into your hands. One more time, hug them in and let your knees drop open, letting the weight of the knees rest into your hands. And then hug them in and then let them drop away from you so your hands are holding them up. And then go ahead and release the feet back down to the floor. And I'd like you to pick up your lighter weights. So if you have heavier and lighter weights, we're going to start with the lighter weights. You know, you can always switch it up, but I think for starters, we want to warm up the shoulders with a lighter weight. Taking your arms overhead, place the weight in the heel of the hand and feel the weight of the barbell or whatever, the dumbbell, travel down from the heel of your hand down into your arm and let it help to release the back of your shoulder into the floor. So as the backs of the shoulders drop more and more into the floor, feel your collarbones broadening. So take your arms out a bit. Keep your elbows soft and let more of the back of your shoulder contact the floor. And then try to keep that contact of the back of the shoulder on the floor as you start to bring your arms back up. So can we bring the arms up without lifting the shoulder off the floor? And then just let your arms go overhead. And they don't have to touch, or they could touch, but just let them go overhead and see if your ribs start to pop up toward the ceiling. Kind of hug the lower ribs in as your arms are reaching overhead. Take a breath. And can you press the back of your shoulders into the floor as you start to bring your arms back up toward the ceiling? Yeah, so just kind of resetting the shoulders back and down. And then let's bend the elbows so the fists point back. So we have kind of a right angle in the arms. And then we'll take feet off the floor and we'll have our bent knees. So we have our beginning dead bug position, bent knees, bent arms. Let's breathe in and lift arms and legs up, and breathe out and let arms and knees bend. So we'll inhale as arms and legs go up and exhale to bend. One more time like that, straightening up and bending. And then we're going to do opposite arm, opposite leg. So one arm and the opposite leg go up, and then we go back to bent, and other arm and the other leg go up, and we go back to bent. So nice and slow and controlled with your breath, opposite arm and opposite leg going up, and then bending, and up, and bending. Couple more like this. Taking our time. And then last one like this. And then we're going to straighten the arms and straighten the legs. We're going to really cultivate awareness of our midline now. Drawing an imaginary line down the center of the body, nose, chin, sternum, pubic bone. Let's begin to take one leg out to the side without letting the hip shift or losing that midline stability. Take the opposite arm out to the side, breathe in, and then bring that arm and leg back up. Then other side, other leg goes out to the side, other arm goes out to the side, maintain that midline stability, and then bring that arm and leg back up. So slow and controlled, opening out to the side with the in-breath, exhaling to bring the arm and leg back up. And continuing like that. The tendency is for the opposite hip to lift up or shift. Only take the leg out as far as you can keep the hip from lifting or shifting. Yeah. So a lot of core contraction here to maintain that midline stability. That's what we're going for here. Opening out, breathing in, exhaling back up. And again, you really have to stabilize here. Let's do one more on each side. And then the next time the arms and legs come up, we're going to change the movement. We'll take one arm overhead as the opposite leg. You can either tap a toe or extend the leg straight out, close to the floor, and then bring that arm and leg back up. And then we'll take the other arm overhead and the other leg extending out, and then bring that arm and leg back up. So inhaling to extend, exhaling back up. Inhaling to extend, exhaling back up. Back of the shoulder stays heavy on the floor. As the arm comes up, we keep the shoulder down. And let's do a few more of these. Working our way through this dead bug series, waking up the shoulders, waking up the core, and working on contralateral movement. So we get the two sides of the body working together. Good for the brain. One more time on each side. Inhale to extend. Exhale back up. Inhale to extend. And exhale back up. One more layer here. If you need a break, take a break. We're going to, again, bend the arms and bend the knees. And then the arms, we're just going to reach them overhead. So the bells kind of touch, but the arms stay bent. And then bring them back up. And the legs are just going to be letting the knees go a little bit away and then bringing them back in. Doing those two movements together. So bent arms, bent knees reach away, and then they come back up. It could be a small movement or a bigger movement. You decide what's best for you. But as the legs move away, don't go so far that your back has to arch. Keep the ribs in and down. Keep the low back from arching more than a little bit. Let's just do a couple more of these. Letting those bent arms reach overhead, the bent knees move away. Last one, reach away and then come back in. Great. All right, let's release our feet down. We can let the weights go down at our side. Let's just take a moment to check in and breathe. Maybe celebrate not only your strength to perform what we just did, but again, what are you strong in? Just celebrate something, a nice quality about yourself. Great. All right, we're going to roll to our sides and we're going to use a weight again. We're going to stack our knees, one knee right on top of the other, knees parallel. We can support our head with our arm or something else. We can pick up that lighter weight. We're going to bring the elbow by the waist and we'll have our fist pointing forward, forearm parallel to the floor. Our arm is just going to lift straight up, keeping the elbow by the waist, trying not to let the wrist cock back. And then we'll bring the forearm again parallel to the floor. We'll keep our feet together and we'll lift a knee as we lift the arm and lower the knee as we bring the forearm parallel to the floor. So lifting up and lowering down. Tendency here is for the elbow to come away from the body. Let's try to keep the elbow kind of tucked into the waist and see how high we can lift that forearm. Sometimes we cheat and cock the wrist back, but what we want to do is externally rotate the shoulder here. So the movement is happening in the back of the shoulder, or the work is happening in the back of the shoulder. So we're just going to do 4 more like this. Nice and slow and controlled. 2 more. And last one. Great. We'll set the weight down. Let's come up onto our bottom forearm. The knee angle can open out a bit rather than straight forward. We'll place our other hand on our hip, and then we're just going to press down to lift the hips up off the floor. We'll lower the hips back down. We're going to lift the hips up and lower the hips down. So you can come all the way down, or you can lift up and then just come part way down. Lift up and come either part way down or all the way down, whatever feels better for you. Now, if you like, as you lift up, you could extend a leg and reach an arm out and then lower down. Lift up and perhaps reach out and then lower down. Let's do 4 more and lower, and 3 more and lower, and 2 more and lower. And last one, let's hold it up here. Take a breath. Nice work. And then we'll lower down. Great. Let's spin around to the other side. We'll come all the way down to let our head rest on our bottom arm. We'll grab our lighter weight. We'll bend our knees forward, straight out from the hip. One knee stacked right on top of the other. Then we'll grab the weight, bring the elbow by the waist, and we're going to take that arm up as much as straight up as possible without cocking the wrist back. And then we'll bring that forearm parallel to the floor. At the same time, keeping our feet together, we'll lift the knee and then lower down. So it's external rotation of the hip and the shoulder. Lifting up and lowering down. Lifting up and lowering down. Nice and slow. Feeling, maybe you're feeling some work in the back of the shoulder here. Those tend to be weak, overstretched muscles there. So this can be good for our posture, to strengthen those muscles in the back of the shoulder. Let's do 4 more. Lifting up, bringing it back down. 3 more. 2 more. And last one. Nice work. Place the weight down. Come up so your elbows right under your shoulder. Open the angle of your knees a bit here. Place your other hand on your hip and then lift your hips up off the floor and then lower back down. Lift yourself up and lower back down. You can come all the way down, or you could lift up and then just lower down so you don't quite touch. Lift up and lower down. So working a lot of different muscle groups here. As we lift up, we could reach the arm and the leg out and then lower down. Lift up and reach and lower down. Maybe reaching, maybe not. Your choice. Let's do a few more. Maybe 3 more. 2 more. The next one, let's hold it up there. Lift up and hold and take a breath. Great. And then lower down. And we'll make our way around to all fours now. So again, we're going to work with our lighter weight. You can always use your heavier if you like. I'm going to use my lighter weight. So we're going to get nice and square. Let's just do a couple cat-cows just to loosen up the spine a bit. So maybe arching and then rounding, or go in the other order. Just moving in a way that feels good to flex and extend the spine a bit here. Move with your breath. You can move a little side to side or front and back if you like. And then just eventually we'll make our way back to our flat back. We're going to pick up the weight. Again, I'm going to use my lighter weight. Have your hand kind of out to the side, straight out from the shoulder, and just lift that arm out to the side. And not only will you maybe notice your arm, your shoulders working, but that side waist kind of contracts to keep you from kind of tipping over, and then lower that arm down. So lift that arm straight out to the side and lower it down. Lift it straight out to the side and lower it down. Let's just do a few more of these and lower it down. And straight out to the side and lower it down. This time lift it straight out to the side and hold it there and take a breath. And then go ahead and place that weight between your 2 hands. Place that hand down, grab it in your other hand, take your hand a little wider than your mat, and then we're going to take that arm straight out to the side. Feel that side waist contract, and then lower the hand back down. Lift it straight out to the side. So again, we're working the back of the shoulder, but we're also feeling the core engage here. So we're lifting straight out to the side and lowering down. Lifting straight out to the side and lowering down. Couple more like this. The next time you lift it straight out to the side, let's hold it out there. Take a breath. And then lower it down. Great. We're going to go back to the first arm. We're going to grab the weight. We're going to bring the hand straight back. So that arm is lifted. The fist is pointing straight back. Can we just bend at the elbow, bringing the weight by the shoulder, and then extend the arm straight back? So we're going to bend in and then extend straight back. We're going to bend in, so you're hinging at the elbow. As you extend straight back, really extend that arm so that you feel that tricep engage. Bend in and extend straight back, and bend in and extend straight back. This next time as you extend straight back, hold it there. Can you lift it up a bit and hold it there? And take a breath and then bend it And place that weight down between your hands so that you can pick it up in the other hand. We'll do the same thing on the other side. Just take that arm straight back. Press back through your fist. So engage through the arm and then hinge at the elbow. Bend in, weight comes by your shoulder. Extend it straight back, all the way back till the arm is straight. Bend in and extend straight back. Bend in, extend straight back. Bend in, extend straight back. Couple more like this. Reaching back, bending in, extending back. 2 more. And then the next time you take the arm straight back, we're going to hold it back there. Lift your arm up and hold it for a breath. Great. And then bend it and lower it down. Let's sit back into child's pose. Sit back on the heels. Release your forehead down onto the floor or onto your bent arms. Take a few breaths here. Check in. Again, perhaps connecting with some of your strengths. So let's just take this hour this morning and just appreciate ourselves for the many ways that, the many positive qualities that we contain. And then when you're ready, lift your head up, reach your arms out in front. Let's make our way up to downward facing dog. Taking those hips up and back as we press down through the hands, releasing the head here. Maybe pedaling the heels down, bending a knee and pressing a heel down, bending another knee and pressing the other heel down, just alternating. Or loosening up in any way that feels nice for you, maybe shaking your head, whatever feels good. And then let's bend both our knees, draw the hips way up and back, take a deep breath in and out. And then walk the hands back towards the feet, ending up with your feet flat, just folded over bent knees, arms and head loose and heavy. Feet nice and planted. Take a breath into your upper back. Allow the breath to empty out. Draw your belly in with soft knees. Begin to roll up. Take a little time to stack your vertebrae, one on top of the other. Slowly rolling up until eventually the head comes up. Once our feet are planted, can we reach the arms out real nice and wide, and then stretch them up and overhead, lifting ribs, lifting shoulders, breathing in. And then we'll exhale our arms down at our side. And then let's go ahead and pick up our heavier weights and come into a sort of a squat stance. So maybe feet slightly wider than the hips, toes slightly turned out, or any sort of variation that feels right for your body, so that we can sit down and our knees are going to track in the direction of our toes. We'll let our arms drop down. We'll push into the feet and legs to straighten up, and we're just going to bicep curl. So we're just going to sit and curl up and lower and curl and sit and lower. So we're just waking up the legs quite a bit here. Working the front of the legs, the back of the legs, into the glutes. Yeah. All right, we're going to add to this. We're going to start the same, and then as we come up, we're going to lift the heels and press up. And we're going to sit into our squat. We're going to come up and lift the heels. And we're going to sit. And we're going to raise. And we'll sit. And we'll press. Yeah. Start to just build up a little warmth, a little heat, a little action here. Isn't it amazing that we have these muscles that allow us to do all these things, to move in all these incredible ways? Let's do 4 more. And press. And 3 more. And press. And 2 more. And press. As we come up next time, let's see if we can hold. Hold as you reach up, as your heels are up. Take a breath. And then lower your heels and lower your arms. Nice job. All right, we can set our weights down. Let's go to the back of our mat. We'll stand back here. Let's find mountain pose. So we're really thinking about sending our roots down as we stand tall. We'll reach the arms out. Inhale the arms up and overhead. Let's exhale and swan dive. Knees can soften as we fold over. And then we're going to walk our hands out into a plank position. Making our way to a nice strong plank position here. Pushing the floor away. Nice and long heels to crown. So option to hold here just like this. If it's too much for your wrists, you could drop to knees and come onto your forearms. Could we keep this position, hips facing the floor, but point a toe back? And then put that foot down, and then point the toes back on the other leg. And then put that foot down. Could we reach one hand and tap the opposite shoulder and put that hand down? Reach the other hand and tap the opposite shoulder, put that hand down. Let's take the weight back a bit. Lift up into down dog. You might be a little further apart than usual, that's okay. Take a breath. We're gonna do it again. Lower into plank. As we hold plank, can we lift one leg and point the toe back? And then come back down. Lift the other leg and point the toe back. Put that foot back down. Take one hand and tap the opposite shoulder. Put that hand down. Take the other hand, tap the opposite shoulder. Put that hand down. Lift up and back to down dog. It's like a wider down dog. And take a breath. We're going to do that series one more time. Lowering into plank. Take one leg, point the toes back. Bring that foot back down. Take the other leg, point the toes back. Bring that foot back down. Take one hand, tap the opposite shoulder. Put that hand back down. Take the other hand, tap the opposite shoulder. Put that hand back down. Take your hips up and back. Take a breath. Exhale again to straight arm plank. Take a breath here. Exhale, try a little bend in your elbows without letting your hips drop. Take another breath, and then we'll lower down. You can come to knees, make your way all the way down to prone mountain, sliding the hands back, heels of the hands by the low ribs, letting the chest sink into the floor. Hovering the chin and the nose just above the mat, lengthening through the crown of the head. Let's inhale, pressing the heels of the hands back, draw the heart forward, come up to baby cobra. And then exhale back down. Again, let's inhale up to baby cobra and lift our hands a bit off the floor. We'll lift the elbows up and hug them in, squeeze in, and then release the hands, release the chest. This time, keeping the hands down, let's start by inhaling up to baby cobra. We could stay here or continue to come up into cobra and then lower back down. Let's push up to knees, curl the toes under and lift the knees, lift the hips up and back to down dog. Breathe in and out here. Then we'll walk our hands back towards our feet, lowering the heels down. Feet are hip distance apart. We're going to bend the knees and lower the hips. Sweep the arms forward, sitting back in our low chair. We're going to push into the feet and legs. Inhale and rise up, reach up. And exhale and sit back down into your chair. Again, push down to inhale and rise up. Exhale, pull down into your squat. Again, inhale and reach up. Exhale and sit. This time we're going to inhale and reach up. Exhale and swan dive forward. Walk the hands out into plank. Hold plank, taking a breath. And then exhale the hips up and back. All right, so you can find your way into your nice down dog. So a good distance from your hands to feet. And then we're going to take one leg up in the air. Take a breath here. And then bend that knee. And can you bring that knee up close to your elbow? Same elbow. And then inhale that leg up and back. Exhale, bend the knee, hug it in towards your elbow. And inhale that leg up and back. One more time. Bend the knee, hug it up towards your elbow. And then can we step that foot out in front? If you want to kneel and step it out, you can do that as well. So we get into a low lunge, letting the hips sink down here. Feet are hip distance apart. Let's push into the front foot. We might bring our hand on the front knee. We're going to rise up, straightening the front leg. We'll square our hips to the front of the mat. Let's bend into the front knee and then push that foot down to straighten. We'll bend into the front knee and push that foot down to straighten. One more time, bend and straighten. This time we're going to bend the front knee and keep it bent. Let's drop the arms down, sweep them forward and up and overhead. Big breath in as we stretch up. Then bring your arms forward. And then same arm as the front leg, sweep it down and behind you. Open into a twist. Breathe in. Sweep that arm down and bring it forward again. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, bring the arms forward. Same arm as the front leg sweeps down and behind. Open into a twist. Sweep that arm down and forward and inhale up. One more time. Bring the arms forward. Same arm as the front leg sweeps down and behind. Inhale into a twist. Exhale, bring your arms down. We're going to lean forward, bring our hands to the floor and step back to down dog. We'll breathe in and out here. And then we're going to take the other leg up in the air, nice and high. Let's bend that knee and hug it in towards the elbow. And then inhale that leg up and back. Bend the knee and hug it up towards the elbow. Inhale that leg up and back. One more time, bend the knee, hug it up towards the elbow, and then can we step that foot out in front? Or you can drop to knee and step the foot out in front. We're going to get into a low lunge, feet hip distance apart. And then you can press onto the front knee. We're going to rise up. Bringing hands to hips, we'll square our hips to the short line of the mat, rotating that back heel straight back. And then we'll bend the front knee, push into that front foot to straighten. Bend the knee, push down to straighten. Again, bend and straighten. This time we're going to bend the front knee and keep it bent. Drop the arms down, sweep them forward and up and overhead, breathing in. Exhale, arms forward, and then same arm as the front leg, sweep it down and behind you. Open into a twist, breathe. Sweep that arm down and forward. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, sweep the arms forward. Same arm as the front leg sweeps behind you. Open into your twist. Then sweep that arm down, forward. Inhale, arms up. One more time. Sweep it forward, down and behind. Open and breathe. And then let that arm come down. Turn forward. Bring your hands to the floor. You can drop to knees or just step back to down dog. Breathe in and out here. Let's exhale to straight arm plank. Lower ourselves all the way down to the floor, prone mountain. We'll inhale up to baby cobra or cobra and exhale back down and make our way up and back to downward facing dog. We'll breathe in and out here. Let's walk our hands back towards our feet, lowering our heels down. Take a breath into the upper back. Let that breath empty. We'll draw the belly in and begin to roll ourselves up. Nice and easy, gradual. Rooting down, we'll reach the arms out and up, breathing in. And exhale, arms down at our sides. Great. Okay. We're going to pick up our 2 blocks. And at the front of your mat, you can just fold over so that the blocks are under your wrists. So the blocks just bring the floor closer, so you can always have them closer to the floor. If you can pound the floor without blocks, go right ahead. I'm going to use them nice and high. And I want us to take a big step back. Let's all step back with our left foot. We're all on the same leg. So that back foot, you want the heel down and the foot deeply angled towards that front left corner. And then get those blocks again right under your shoulders. So the front knee might be a little bent. You can kind of work towards straightening that front leg. It doesn't have to get all the way straight. Kind of draw that right hip back a little bit to help straighten that front leg. And can you think about lengthening your spine a bit here? So rather than being rounded or folded over the bent knee, there's more of a hinge in the hip and a more straight back. Yeah. All right, so the foot that's back, that hand is going to stay on the block, left hand on the block. Can we leave the block and take the right arm out parallel to the floor? I'm just going to turn so you can maybe see me a little bit better. So right arm out parallel to the floor. And then we're going to lift that right arm up. So can you hug that right hip back as you press down into the block and lift the arm up? So it's kind of like a revolved triangle here. We're going to breathe in and out. And then bring that hand back down. So option to do that again. Or if you want a bigger challenge, we're going to bring the weight on the front foot. We can step the blocks more forward and lift the back leg up, pressing out through the back heel. And again, the left hand on the block, right arm reaching out to the side. Can we rotate that arm up toward the ceiling? So you're rotating through the trunk. We'll breathe in and out. And then bring the hand down. Bend the standing leg. Just let the other leg come back. And we're just going to fold over. Just let the head hang. Let the elbows bend. Breathe in and out here. And then we're just going to step the right foot back. So you're going to walk those blocks so they're right underneath the shoulders. The right foot, the heel is down. The foot is pointing towards the front right corner of your mat. So the front knee might be quite bent. Can you straighten that a bit? Pulling that left hip back. Doesn't have to get all the way straight. We're just kind of working on that. And then can you, with the blocks, ideally we can keep the spine long here rather than bending over or bending at the waist. We're hinging from the hip so the spine is long. All right, so same arm as the back leg. That hand's going to stay on the block. The other arm going to open to the side. And then can we open that arm up toward the ceiling? Hug that left hip back. Press down to reach up. Breathe in and out here. And then bring the hand back down. Option to do that same thing again, or you can step the blocks forward, bring the weight onto the front foot, and lift the back leg up, pressing out through that back heel. Another option would be to just stay here. Or if we like, right hand stays on the block, left arm opens to the side. Again, can we rotate that arm and the chest up toward the ceiling? So we're really working on hip strength and the standing leg here. We're going to breathe in and out. Great. And then bring that hand down. Just bend your knees a bit and place that foot next to the other foot. And just now you can round the spine. Bend your elbows, release your head. Breathe in and out. And let's just go ahead and make our way to sitting down. So make your way to sitting down on your mat. All right, swing your legs forward. We are going to use the blocks a little bit more, so have them nearby. But we're going to pick up our heavier weight, and we're going to see if it would work for us to roll down and roll up with the weight as kind of a counterbalance. So we often do this with straight legs. I'm going to suggest that we do it with bent knees here this time, with your heels on the floor. And the weight is just in front of you. It's kind of a nice counterbalance. So we're going to sit up and take a breath. And then can you draw your low belly in and begin to roll down? We're just going to roll down and let the head touch. We're not going to take the arms overhead. We're going to, again, start to roll up. Yeah, we're just going to roll down, touch the back of the head, and then lift head, tuck the chin, and roll up. Just a few more of these. Rolling down and rolling up and rolling down. Rolling up. I've got like 6 goldfinches right outside my window, maybe 7 or 8. Rolling down, rolling up 2 more times. And then the next time you roll down, go ahead and stay down. Great. Set your weight off to the side. Your blocks are nearby, but before we use the blocks, I want us to do just one regular bridge pose. So plant your feet, heels underneath your knees, feet hip distance apart. Take your gaze to the ceiling, just have your arms to the side. We're just going to do a basic hip bridge. So pressing into the feet and legs, start to lift your hips up into the air. The energy of the knees and shins going forward as your hips go up and up and up and up. Bring the weight up onto your shoulders. Take a breath at the top. And then just nice and slow and gradual and easy, lower yourself down, articulating your spine. A lot of spinal mobility work this morning. It's always good to cultivate a nice mobile spine. And then once we're all the way down, let everything relax. So we're going to do that again. And you might notice how the hamstrings are providing a lot of the work here. Press into your feet and legs, roll your hips up, knees and shins, press forward, hips go up nice and high. We take a breath at the top. Can you feel the hamstrings working? And then lower yourself down. Nice and easy. Gradual. Releasing all the way down. And relaxing once you're down. So now, could you find those blocks and take them and place them under your feet? So your feet are where they normally are, but they're up on blocks. All right. So now we're going to continue to do bridge work, but the bridge isn't going to be as high. We're going to focus more on strength in the back of the legs rather than coming up nice and high. So feet on the blocks, press into the blocks to lift your hips up. Low hip bridge. But can you feel your hamstrings and glutes firing? And then lower yourself down. Push down to lift up. Feel the back of the legs firing and into the glutes. And lower yourself down. This time we're going to press down and come up. Let's keep the right foot on the block where it is. And can we lift the left knee up in the air? And then we'll put the left foot down and try and lift the right knee up in the air. And put the right foot down, lift your hips up a little higher, and then lower down out of your hip bridge. Again, let's press down to lift the hips up. Let's leave the left foot, lift the right knee, and then just press into the block and lift your hips a little higher. Lower your hips a little bit, press into the block, lift the hips a little higher, lower your hips a little bit, small movement. Again, lift your hips a little higher, and then put your right foot back on the block. Then when you're ready, lift your left foot up, knee comes up. Let's see if we can lift the hips a little higher, and then lower them a little bit, and lift the hips a little higher, and lower them a little bit, and lift them a little higher, and then place that foot back down, and lower yourself down out of the bridge. All right, try now pushing the blocks a little bit further away. So your knees, your feet aren't under your knees, they're forward of your knees. And then place your feet on the blocks. You could also just have your heels on the block, if that feels better. And we're gonna lift up into a low hip bridge. You're not gonna come up as high, but you might feel your hamstrings working a bit more. And then lower back down. That might be far enough away, or you might try pushing your blocks a little further away, putting your heels on your block and lifting your hips up and lowering down. It gets a little harder the further away you go. So you could bring them back in a little, you could push them a little further. If you want the deepest challenge, you could push them all the way out until your legs are straight. This is really hard. You can't lift very high, but if you want to try it, push your heels down, lift your hips up. You don't come up really high, but you're really working. Take a breath and then lower down. Great. I'm still sore because I've been doing that lately. That's a killer. All right, go ahead and slide your legs in. Give your knees a hug. Sway a little bit, release. Good work. Great. Let's just keep on, hold on that right knee and extend the left leg out straight, letting it rest down. Maybe bending that left knee and bouncing that knee so you feel the heaviness in the bottom leg. And keep that leg heavy as you hug the right knee in close. And breathe. And then take the right leg up in the air, hold behind the thigh, press the leg into your hands so your arms are straight. Flex your foot. And then stretch your toes up. Squeeze those toes at the top. Wiggle that out. Bend the knee. And then slide the bottom leg in. Place that foot down. Take the top leg and put your ankle over that other knee. And let your top knee drop open. Lift your bottom foot off the floor and hug in. Reach through and grab the back of the further away thigh. And just breathe into the hip on that top leg. You might flex your feet. You might just take the legs an inch or two in one direction and back to center, inch or two in the other direction. And back to center, maybe hug them in a little closer for one more breath. And then go ahead and release one leg and then the other. And then we'll hug the left knee in, slide the right leg out straight, bounce that knee a few times and let the right leg be heavy as the left knee hugs in close. Then lift the left leg up in the air, reach around, grab the back of the thigh and press into your hands. Press your heel up, pull your toes down. Stretch your toes up and then squeeze the toes. Shake that off. Go ahead and bend that top leg and then slide the bottom leg and place your foot on the floor. And then take that bent knee and drop the ankle on the bottom leg. Let the knee on the top leg open away from you. And then pick the bottom foot up to bring the legs in towards you. Reach through and grab onto the back of the right thigh and hug it in. You could be just like this. You might flex your feet. You could sway the legs just ever so slightly to one side and back to center, to the other side and back to center. You might hug them in a little bit closer for one more breath. And then release. One foot and then the other foot. We're going to move into our final relaxation now. So taking a few moments to get nice and comfortable. It might mean something under your head or over you or under you in some way. We use these final minutes. They're an important part of our practice. We give those muscles that we've just been working a chance to release. So as you settle in, your eyes might close. Just feel the feet and legs relaxing, releasing, resting into the floor. Feel the weight of the pelvis, the low back, all the muscles that attach to the pelvis. Just softening, unclenching, releasing into the floor. Feel the weight of the shoulders rest back. Feel the arms heavy. Let your palms and your elbows just soften a bit. Allow the weight of your head to rest back heavily. And just feel the facial muscles softening, smoothing, relaxing and releasing. Allow yourself to be in this relaxed state. Finding rest and ease and relaxation. Our ability to be calm, relaxed, and at ease is a strength. A healthy muscle is a muscle that can contract and relax. And a healthy mind is a mind that can think and respond and plan and do, but that can also be calm and at ease. We need both. So you might choose to stay longer, resting for a bit longer, and that's perfectly fine and wonderful. Feel free to do so. If you're ready to transition, you might begin opening your eyes, bending your knees and bringing your feet to the floor. Gently rolling to the side, supporting your head with your bottom arm. Being careful, kind, and gentle with yourself as you start to make your way up to sitting. We'll find a way to sit comfortably. Take our final few moments just connecting with our deeper self, our inner wisdom, our inner light. I celebrate you for all that you are. Peace. Thanks for being here. Thanks for showing up and doing the practice.